Okay, so the stuff I got to start with for these stinger hooks, first of all, welcome. And so I've got these number 4 VMCs here. Got some 15-pound monofilament line. And then I've got this little kit of beads from the dollar store. These are just literally plastic beads with really small holes in them. And so this is what I use for my stingers. And then I've built this little jig here. And then I've also got these little snips as well as a pair of pliers to like cinch things tighter. So anyways, let's go through this. And then I'm also going to discuss maybe some of my 2024 season statistics. So the first thing I do here with the treble hook is just do a very basic Palomar knot on it. This is actually much more difficult than I was expecting, trying to do it through a camera. So we'll tighten that up, moisten it down. Okay, so now what I do is I put it in my jig there, and honestly this is just a scrap piece of plywood with a couple of small nails, finishing nails in it. So now what I'll do is I'll tighten up that knot, trim it down. Gotta make sure I cut the right one. There we go. So yeah, I decided I'd do this just to get rid of some of the treble hooks I've got. And so now what I do is I've got like a small length of this 2x4, and what I've found is that if I just kind of extend the mono about that far and trim it, so now I've got this piece here that I can work with. It makes it a little bit easier to handle. So now what I do is I take one of my plastic beads, put the plastic bead through there, make sure the hook is in the jig. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to wrap around that nail. Going to pass this line of mono, popped off the jig, that's okay, through the bead. Put that back on the nail, and then we tighten it down. Once again, this is much easier when I don't have a camera in the way, but there you go. Okay, so now we've got the treble, and then I've got the monofilament wrapped around this this nail here, and then the mono is passing through this this bead. And so essentially what I end up with, I'm going to do a couple of knots here, but essentially this is what, like, if you could imagine this being your hook, this will just simply cinch down on your hook. And so those are the stingers that I use now. And so yeah, like I said, I'm just doing this to get rid of some of the stuff that I've got so far. Just got a little bit of downtime here on the old Christmas break. Hopefully everybody enjoyed their holiday, had some fun. So now what I'm doing is just two overhand knots, okay, or half hitches, I guess you would say. And so now what I'm going to do, just moisten that up, just moisten it on my fingers. Going to cinch that down, and then I'm going to do one more half hitch over top of that to make sure that it doesn't slip, and then that's pretty much it. Moisten that a little bit, tighten it up, and there you have it. So now what I generally do afterwards is I will take this out and I'll cinch this down to make sure that the knots don't slip through the eyes of the beads there. Pull pretty hard, that's good. Then I simply trim this down. And there you go. First one done. And so let's see if I can get it into focus a little bit. So there you have it. Those are the stingers that I use now. I have another video I posted a couple years ago. If you don't have beads like this, what you can do, there's a way that you can make these without the beads, like with no hardware, just by using knots. Yeah, these beads, like I said, I got these at the Dollar Tree or something like that. And so anyways, this just goes on your hook like so, and then it just cinches down, and then you can either let this free float or attach it to your plastic. So anyway, there you have it, one done. Okay. And so instead of giving instruction on how to do that, I'm just going to adjust this a little bit for the remainder of the time. So I went through my stats for the 2024 season and wanted to maybe just throw out some of those numbers if you were curious. And so I started my season on April 15th. And so I went out a couple of times before that, but it was more so just to get the new boat on the water and kind of tinker around with things. But my first, what I'll say is an official outing was on April 15th. And in the spring, I ran exclusively on the St. Clair River. And I did that from April 15th to June 12th. Sorry, just going to do my Palomar knot off camera here real quick. All right. So, started my season April 15th and ran on the St. Clair River until June 12th. And so, in that timeline, I ended up with 33 outings in total. And sorry, I'm just going to tighten that down. 33 outings in total and 30 days on the water. And the reason why those are different is because there are some days if I was running, let's say, if I had two groups going out, or if I went out by myself in the morning and then had a group in the afternoon. So that's a single day on the water, but I consider those two separate outings, and I log them separately as well. So 33 outings, 30 days on the water, and we finished with 295 walleye, and that's just below an average of 9 per outing. And so a couple of things I learned about that, or during that time. So first of all, the spring this was a little bit of a different spring. I've gotten myself into a routine the last few years that was working quite well for me. But having the new boat changed things a little bit for the better. And the reason for that is because it's a little bit faster, I can cover a lot more of the river now. I can get up and down the river a lot faster. So my old boat would cruise at just under 20 miles an hour. And when I'm bringing people out for 5 hours only, to rip down the river, any substantial distance could sometimes be a little bit of a waste of time. And so anyway, the last few years, what I ended up doing was I would start my season in April and usually into May around mid-river. And so on the Canadian side, that's in the Moortown area. And on the American side, that's the St. Clair area. And there was 4 spots, yeah, that I would typically rely on in that area for the first little bit of the season. And then as the season progressed, I would kind of move up closer to Sarnia. This year, however, I started off in the mid-river area and transitioned to the Sarnia area pretty quick. mostly because I just like the launch there better than in Moortown. Especially some of the people that I have coming out with me are a little bit older, and it can be a little bit. What am I doing? I am making what's called a stinger hook right now. And so I'm making a stinger hook and I'm talking about my 2024 fishing season. And so anyway, in the Moortown area, the dock is a little bit, there's a little bit of a drop between the dock and getting onto your boat. And so you don't have that issue at the Sarnia Marina. So anyways, I transitioned to Sarnia a lot sooner than I usually do. And I didn't have a great fishing season in Mid River at all this year. I had a lot of stinkers mid river, and there's actually a few charters, unfortunately, that come to mind that were a little less than desirable because of that. I don't know what was going on, but like I said, I've got 4 or 5 spots in that area that usually hit really well in that April to mid-May, even into late May time period. But I had a really rough go there this year. So, anyways, but how long does this usually take? I don't know. I'll probably be another 20 minutes or so. I'm just kind of chatting through my stats for the year and then my making hooks at the same time. So started going to Sarnia a lot sooner than I usually do, and I fished the north end of the river a lot more than I usually do in the springtime. And so that was it was good, but it got me off of my routine. Let's put it that way, and that really flustered me. I'll be honest. Trying to get a handle on a new boat, and then essentially trying to, I don't want to say relearn, but I felt like I was kind of relearning the river because I had relegated myself to such a small area of it before. But now, like I said, with the new boat, I can kind of expand the areas that I go. And so what ended up happening was I actually managed to even spend some time down in Marine City or Sombra on the Canadian side there. So I covered all the way from Sarnia to Marine City this spring. I think that would have been probably like the first couple of weeks of May. I started opening up a little bit as to how far of the river I was going to, or how much of the river I was going to cover. And so that was actually quite interesting. I had never made it down to Marine City before. I had only fished from Moortown, between Moortown and Sarnia. And so, yeah, getting down to Marine City in that area and seeing what the fishing like was down there was pretty awesome. Had some really good days down there. And so, so like I said, it was kind of a double-edged sword. I got off my routine this year, but I think in the long run, it's going to be for the better. I learned a lot about all the different, areas. Well, I shouldn't say all the areas of the river, but I'd say about 3/4 of the river now, and so it's really opened up a lot of different spots for me to travel to in the future. Just give me a second. I'm gonna grab a drink here. So anyways, yeah, my spring season finished off in June, mid-June, and we finished with a bang. We ended up having a really great end to the spring, but I definitely had some ebbs and flows this spring. It was good. It was really good, but it definitely wasn't one of my better ones, or one of my best, I should say. Just kind of good is how I would classify it. And so that brings us to mid-June, and then so usually around mid to end of June, I'll transition to Port Glasgow on Lake Erie. And so I started going there June 18th. My last trip to Port Glasgow was on September 20th, and had just a fantastic year there. And I mean, I'm definitely not the only one. Anybody who fishes Lake Erie right now knows how good that fishery is during the summertime in particular. I mean, it's good all times of year, but during the summertime, it seems like the fish are just everywhere. And so let me see the stats here. So from June 18th to September 20th, I had 25 days on the water and 29 outings. And that was, no, sorry, 25 outings. 25 outings. That's what it was. 25 outings. Caught 412 walleye for 16.5 per trip on average. And like I said, that's I mean, that's pretty standard out there. It's crazy. We are definitely living through some really good times in terms of the walleye fishery all around these parts. But all of those ports along I don't know many of them on the American side, I'll be honest, but on the Canadian side, Colchester, Leamington, Erie, Port Glasgow, Stanley, Port Bruce, Port Burwell, all those spots had, I mean, you should just see the numbers of fish that were coming out of those areas. And so, yeah, and a few of those outings, I was doing some like casting as well. And so that's something that I would like to do a little bit more of over the next couple of years, is get a little bit better casting for those open water walleye. I've done it before. I've had success with it, but it's definitely not something that I'm super confident in just yet. I had a few days, a few stinker days when I was trying to cast for walleye out there, but it's a lot of fun. The quality of fish out there is usually quite nice, and so when you get a big 27, 28, 29, or 30 plus incher, and you're on light tackle casting for it, it's a lot of fun when you bring it up. So that was Port Glasgow. And another thing that I actually started doing this year, so I actually started offering charters up at my cottage near Sudbury, Ontario. And so I did a couple of weekends this summer. Hey, Joe. And so I did a couple of weekends up there this summer, June 28th to July 3rd, and then August 1st to August 6th. And so I had my, oops, I have a hook there. I brought my boat up there, and during those, and so I should kind of give a little bit of a preamble about that. So it's, I go up there for mostly for family, but I carved out some time to run some charters while I was up there as well. And so for those 2 extended weekends that I was there, I did 7 outings, and some of those were personal outings as well, not just charters. And we ended up jigging up 22 lake trout, 9 burbot, and 3 whitefish. And I'm gonna be honest, out of all the things I accomplished this year, that would be, I would say, the ultimate, was having a lot of success up there. The reason being is because I've been fishing up there my entire life, and I've gone years. Okay, I mean, I only spend a couple of weekends up there a year, I should say, but I've gone years without catching fish up there. And this year, instead, usually what we do is troll for the lake trout. And this year we tried something different. We tried jigging for them, and it was so much fun. We had a blast doing that. As a matter of fact, yeah, I think I posted a video. I did. Yeah, I posted a video of my dad and I doing some lake trout fishing up there. And so that was a lot of fun, and I'll definitely be doing that down the line. So if any of you live up in the Sudbury area and are wanting to get out, keep me in mind. I have a couple of short weekends a year to bring you out. Congratulations. I got to pass by you multiple times. First time I got to see you boat in Moortown when we were drifting close. Oh, that's right. Hey, Tyler, how's it going? Yes, I remember that. That was that would have been May. That was actually May 15th. That was my birthday because the people I had out on my boat with me that day were, I had some clients, and then I had another group that day of friends that surprised me come up from Windsor for an outing as well. Do you guys remember how you did that day, Tyler? We did okay, but that was one of those days I was saying earlier that I didn't have a super fantastic I didn't have super fantastic fishing mid-river this year. Usually I can count on Moortown to hit for me, and for whatever reason this just wasn't going this year. But it is what it is. All right, so back to some of the stats here. All right, so we did Wanapitei. Now I gotta flip my page. I've got my stats page here, trying to read off of. All right. Yes, he did. I did get some socks this year. Yep, gotta stop wearing sandals, that's for sure. I've been warned a million times, and I know that it's just a matter of time before I get a hook in the foot. It's a guarantee. It's just the law of averages. And it was first day I had my father on. Wow, we passed by 4 or 5. Yeah, we did. I remember when you were there, Tyler. Yeah, that was pretty much the highest point of our day. I think we only finished with maybe seven or eight or something like that. I can't remember what the exact count was, but for 4 of us, that's definitely not a fantastic day. But anyway, it is what it is. All right, so. And they did get their, yeah, blue silver harnesses. See, that is a color I don't try. I haven't tried blue out there. I have not tried blue. I stick with those copper and red beads and some of those traditional ones. Blue beads, silver blade. Oh, okay. All right. Thanks, Ty. I'll be sure to make a few of those colors this off season and try those out in the spring. And then for the fall, let's wrap it up here with our fall fishing. So the fall, we did a couple outings late September, but I didn't really start going there heavy until about mid to late October. So we did 26 outings, 22 days on the water, finished with 254 walleye with an average of 9.7 per trip. And so once again, I had a lot of ebbs and flows on my fall outings as well. Had some great days and had some really, really slow days. Just as a whole, my fishing season on the St. Clair River, as much as I love that place, definitely this wasn't one of my better years. Let's put it that way. When the year was over, I was kind of like, okay, I gotta reset here just a little bit. But the one nice thing was, because I had some tougher days, I just moved around a lot and got to figure out some different spots in the river. It's easy, it's when you're catching fish, you don't always want to leave fish to catch fish. And so if you're having a great day, the tendency is to just stay put. And I mean, that's what I do too. But having some of those off days allowed me to actually didn't allow me, it just forced me to get out of my comfort zone and try a few different spots, which I will definitely be tackling next year a little bit more, and different techniques and stuff too. And during the fall, the last fall walleye outing I had was November 28th. I was trying to stretch it out into December, but we just had not just we, there was that crazy drop in temperature that happened. Tyler, I'm thankful for the St. Clair River, as it's only 20-minute travel instead of the 1+ hour for Erie. That's true. It does leave me feeling confused from time to time. It's coming with practice, but it's not without a struggle. Well, Ty, it's one of those things where it's I don't wish other people to struggle, obviously, but it's reassuring that it's not just me going through that. You know what I mean? But yeah, the St. Clair River is a really special spot, and so I live quite a ways away from from the St. Clair River, and that's why I like to transition to Erie when that place is picking up steam. But the fish that you can catch on the St. Clair River, the bass that you can catch. I know that there's muskie out there. My buddy Brett and I have tried for those. We didn't have any success, but or actually, I shouldn't say that. He caught one, but I never caught one yet. At least not while I was trying. I caught one jigging this fall, but I wasn't purposely trying to catch a muskie. Anyways, yeah, summer is rough. I've heard that for walleyes. But anyway, it is an amazing fishery. It absolutely is an amazing fishery. And so, yeah, tried to stretch out the season till December, but couldn't. And then just because the temperature drops, and obviously you have to be a special kind of fisherman to want to go out in those temps. And so the other thing I did during the fall was I had a couple of perch charters out in Long Point, which is also on Lake Erie. So I had 4 outings there, and we caught a total of 222 perch. And those are just the ones we kept. I don't know. We probably threw back at least 3 times that amount, but really, really small ones. Committed fisherman, my group of friends use a guarantee spot to take the one. Yeah, that's a very good point, Ty. Yeah, Lake Erie definitely is a really great spot for the first timers because it is easier fishing, that's for sure. It is much easier fishing. And so yeah, we did Long Point, 4 outings, 222 perch. Yeah, so that was kind of fun. I didn't have many of those charters last year, but I picked up a few more this year, which is good. It's a nice little change of pace, and I mean, you stay super busy when you're doing those ones. It just seems like every 30 seconds you're taking a fish off, putting a minnow on. You know what, Joe? I've gone out on Lake St. Clair. I tried to get some footage while I was out there with Brett this year, but I haven't brought my boat out on Lake St. Clair yet. It's just one of those things where I try to spend as much time in the areas that I'm running the charters out of as I can, and so like it doesn't leave me with much spare time, I guess you could say, to run to different bodies of water. Especially if I've got charters coming up, I want to stay on the fish and stuff. So if I have a spare day where I can get out on the water, I feel like I need to go to, whether it be Sarnia or on Erie, but it'll happen at some point, I'm sure. I'm hoping that next year I'll be able to get out and maybe do some muskie in the fall. Yeah, I fished Lake St. Clair a lot when I was growing up as a kid. Went out with my grandpa on Lake St. Clair quite a bit, and we always had a lot of success there, both perch and walleye, but mostly walleye. That's that's a good point there, Eric. Much less poop, yes, in the St. Clair River. All right, so where was I? Actually, you know what? That kind of wrapped up the stats that I had. And so these were the numbers that I got from my boat. I had a couple of other outings on other people's boats and stuff like that, just for fun. And so, we'd add a couple fish here and there. But anyways, those are the stats from my outings. And so I had 95 outings in total, and 961 walleye was the total count. And that's just a quick count from the Excel spreadsheet that I've got. And so For me, for the charter side of things, it was the number of outings that I was really happy with. The number of outings bumped up a lot this year from years past, which was a lot of fun. Like I said, the fishing though the spring and the fall really challenged me. Let's say this year. So anyway, it is what it is. It's all wrapped up, onwards and upwards. And so all the things I learned this year, I got to apply them next year and hope maybe we can get that walleye count over 1,000. That would be quite a feat. So anyway, I'm gonna finish off this last stinger hook here, and we'll call it a day. Hope everybody had a wonderful holiday. If you guys have any questions here while I'm wrapping this up, feel free to post them. Tying leaders in March. Frank's Great Outdoors or Northwoods. If not, I'll pick you up. I might take you up on that, Eric. You know what? I've had such a hard time getting my passport done. I've gone down to the passport office like a million times here in London, and every time I've gone, there's like an 8-hour wait. And unfortunately, this is my busy time of year. Fall and winter are my busy times of year at my other job, and so I can't spend a full day sitting in the passport office. But once I get that done, actually, one of the winter trips I'd like to do is I'd like to go to maybe Saginaw Bay for the day, just rent a hut or something like that. I'm sure they must do that there. And do some ice fishing there. I hear that I'm sure this warm weather is not doing any help, but I'm sure they'll be getting some ice over the next couple of weeks with the temps that we're supposed to have. Can't do a seminar. I'll be able to do one next spring. I'm getting the passport thing taken care of by mail now. While I'm in my off season, I was trying to avoid doing the passport via mail because of how long the turnaround is. But now that it's the winter, I can just submit my application via mail, and I don't have to go to the post or the passport office. So I'll have that all sorted out for next season. But yeah, that was something that crept up on me, and I just wasn't able to get it all sorted out in time. But anyway, I'll make sure to keep those spots in mind. No, I don't fish the. I don't do much competition stuff, Ty. Yeah, I haven't participated in that. Do you? Do you partake in that tournament or derby, I should say? There we go. I do have a Michigan fishing license. Yeah, that I did pick up in the spring. Can't let you American guys have all the fun at the Black River, right? All right, you know what? I think I'm going to, more so when I was younger last year's, took off the week, work just to use some vacation time. I've yet to get on the board, however. Someone in my boat was lucky enough to place in the rainbow. Oh, cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Category this year, thankfully, he's a good friend and part of the prizes on the boat. Ah, nice. That is a real good friend, is sharing the wealth with you. All right. Well, you know what, guys? Oop, there we go. I think I'm gonna wrap it up there. Yeah. You guys don't want to hear me jabbering on for more than a half an hour. I think that's a good amount of time. Oh, that's good tea. That's good tea. Thanks a lot for tuning in and joining in and asking questions and stuff. I really appreciate that. I might do one in another month or so, maybe sometime in February or maybe later January. One of the next things I kind of wanted to do on one of these live things is get some input about some spots within like three to 4 hours of London where I could do some ice fishing. But anyways, yeah, hope everybody's doing well. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you around. Take care, guys. Happy New Year's.